All right, everybody, welcome back to another part two. I apologize, I was interrupted by a phone call here. So after Pat Boone, I got Shania Twain. Shania Twain, I'm not sure she's still recording, but she's a country singer. Angelica Houston or Houston. I believe there's a little misspelling of her last name, but she has done. I think she's still alive. Angelica Houston, she was famous for being Mrs. Adams in the Adams Family movies, not the TV, not the current TV show Wednesday. Some of the originals with not Raul. It could have been Raul, but it might be Mr. Aston, who is still alive, and Mr. Aston, John Aston, I think his name is. He is the father of Sean Astin, who is known for Samwise Gamgee in the Lord of the Rings. John Astin is his wife. John Astin is Sean's father, and John who's 95 now. He played Mr. Adams to Angelica Houston, Mrs. Adams, in the Adams Family movies. That's how I know Angelica Houston. And that might be a misspelling of her last name, or we just pronounce it Houston. Next is Julia Louise Dreyfus. She is famous for the Seinfeld show with Jerry Seinfeld and Michael Richards. She's a comedian. I think she is still around, of course, but I'm not sure if she's still acting at the moment. Julianne Moore. Why do I have Julianne Moore? I don't know. That's just her star. That's a name I know. Oops. 50 Cent. Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, a very famous recording artist, rapper, and actor. That's his star there. Lou Costello, I couldn't find Bud Abbott. I think that's his name, Bud Abbott. But I found Lou Costello. Lou Costello and Bud and Abbott Abbott and Costello are famous for Who's on First. Their skit called Who's on First. And 7 plus 13 equals 28. Or 7 times 13 equals 28. So that's a funny little math thing. And Michael Jackson did that too. Amy Adams. There's Amy Adams. Let me look up her picture. Amy Adams. I think that's the lady I'm thinking of. Okay, she plays oh gosh. What's her name? Daily Planet writer. Lois. Clark Kent. And Lois. Oh gosh, what's her name? What's the last name? Lois. Oh gosh. Lois Lane. Lois Lane. She plays. I'm sorry. A little blank there. Lois Lane. Don't get her confused with Rachel McAdams, who's a very funny actress as well. She played Morning Glory. She played pretty much the boss on Morning Glory with Harrison Ford and the late Diane Keaton. That's Rachel McAdams. Don't get that confused with Amy Adams. Don't get those two confused, please. Amy Adams, she's also did Enchanted, Arrival. I'm looking at Google here. American Hustle, Sharp Object, and of course Man of Steel as Lois Leonard. Lois, yeah, Lois Lane, not Lois Leonard. Lois Lane, I'm sorry. Steve Harvey. Did I just mention in the first video about the Kings of Comedy? Because I had Cedric in the first video. There's Steve Harvey. Your ass is going to be on YouTube. The whole damn family's going to be on YouTube. I love Steve Harvey as host of Family Feud. He is so funny. He's all over. He's all over Twitter. Twitter. He's all over TikTok as well, and Facebook Reels. Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter all have Steve Harvey doing the best of Fast Money, the Obus, the Obu family. I think is that the American or the South or the African one? I think it's the American one. But they got the Obus. Your name is Obu, and your last name is Obu. That's Steve Harvey. Tavis Smiley, he was a radio guy back in the day. I believe he's still around. And he'll always end his show with this encouragement, keep the faith. That was Tavis Smiley. We used to see him on TV. He doesn't do his show anymore. He might be doing a podcast, but I'm not sure about that. Tracy Morgan. Many of you, all of you who are big fans of Tracy Morgan know that he was in a very serious accident. And I believe he suffered some brain injury or brain damage or a head injury at least. And he's recovered, but I think he's still in recovery even today after that accident. But that's Tracy Morgan's star there. Katharine Hepburn, very famous lady, back in the days. Katharine Hepburn. Willem Dafoe is known for being the Green Goblin in the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. He also did a film called Jesus Christ Superstar. No, excuse me. The Last Temptation of Christ, which is really based on the Passover plot, the book. So, and it's Martin Scorsese's movie, a very controversial movie, as controversial, if not less or more than Passion of the Christ, but it was controversial because of the way Jesus was portrayed in the film by direction of Martin Scorsese and the Passover plot. So that's Willem Dafoe. Admiral Kirk Douglas. The real Admiral Kirk for 104 years was Kirk Douglas. His son Michael is a very famous actor as well. His daughter-in-law is Catherine Zeta-Jones. And they're both very good. Kirk Douglas was in Spartacus, one of his famous films. Michael Douglas did a lot of films like Wall Street, the original one. And I think he came back for Wall Street 2. And then he did his best role, Michael's best role, for me, was, as my opinion, was the Behind the Candelabra, where he played Lee Liberace. And a couple of other guys have done the role of Liberace before, Kirk Douglas, but he did a pretty good job. And where my foot is where there's a special commemorative circle for the Apollo 11 mission with Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. I didn't get to take a picture of that, but I did see that. That's where my right foot is over. Mike Wallace, famous journalist. No BS with don't BS with Mike Wallace. His son is Chris Wallace. Both of them are very good, but to be honest with you, I have more respect for Mike Wallace than his son Chris, and that's just my opinion. But that's how I know Mike Wallace. Seth MacFarlane, very famous guy for Family Guy. He did Orville. I think he's still doing Orville, the parody spinoff of Star Trek is the Orville. Seth MacFarlane is a very famous comedian, voice impressionist, but he's most famous for the Family Guy. Who is this one? Oh, that's Michael Douglas. Yeah, that's Michael Douglas. Oops. What is going on here? Mark Wahlberg! My fellow June 5th guy, Mark Wahlberg. He and his brother Donnie have the Wahlburgers restaurant, which I haven't seen. I haven't been there, so I don't know. But Mark Wahlberg, I saw him in Newport Beach signing bottles, vodka bottles, I think, sometime last year, actually. But he and I share a birthday since 85, really. So almost 40 years. Yeah, 40 years. We've been sharing the same birthday, 40 years. But we're like, 15 years apart, give or take? So that's Mark Wahlberg. Mark Harmon. Mark Harmon is known as Jethro Gibbs, who will slap you on the back of your head and say, "Don't apologize, it's a sign of weakness," from NCIS. That's Mark Harmon. There's talk about doing a prequel to NCIS. Young Jethro Gibbs, maybe. I have to look that up, see if it's still true. Anthony Quinn, known by a lot of mob movie lovers as probably one of the best Neil Delacroix actors, was Anthony Quinn, especially in the movie Gotti with Armand Assante as John Gotti. And Anthony Quinn played Neil. And Michael Franzese says Gotti with Armand Assante is the best, most accurate mafia movie ever done. And Anthony Quinn killed it as Neil Delacroix. If I had another choice, I would have sent these two zips and you will go. Famous line from Anthony Quinn in the Gotti movie. His son, Francisco Quinn, played a terrorist in second season of 24, Syed Ali, if you can remember that. And Francisco Quinn died, I believe, after his dad died, but Francisco died at like 50 of a heart attack. And he looked pretty healthy before that. But that's what I know about Anthony and Francisco Quinn. Next star is Manny Patinkin. Pat Tinkin. Pat Tinkin. Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Nobody can say that was not the most famous line ever done by Mandy Patinkin. Patinkin. No one can say that's the best line he's ever done. But he has done Homeland, when Homeland was a show. But everyone remembers Mandy Patinkin as Inigo Montoya in The Princess Bride, directed by the late Rob Reiner. No one can dispute Mandy Patinkin. Neil Patrick Harris. Why do I have a star? Well, I just know him through the show How I Met My Mother, which I never saw. And he's just a famous guy. Oh, but I did watch him as the young little doctor in Dr. Huey. Dr. Neil Patrick Harris. What was Neil Patrick Harris? I'm typing here, so excuse me. Dr. Hoogly. Doogie Howser. Teenage physician who balances the challenge of yada yada yada. I wonder how old he was. He's probably 12 when Neil Patrick Harris got that role as Doogie Howser. 12, 13, maybe in his teens, because it says teenager. So that's how I know the name Neil Patrick Harris. And I probably did watch Doogie Howser back in the day. Henry Winkler. He is famous for the Foz. I believe he played the Foz in Happy Days, which is a show I never watched because it's before my time. But Pat Morita was also in Happy Days, and also was Ron Howard, if I remember correctly. Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, famous for being the creator, playwright for Phantom of the Opera, among other musicals that he's done. But Phantom of the Opera is the one I know about him the most. Is Andrew Lloyd Webber. Billy Joel, the Piano Man. Nat King Cole. Both him and his daughter, Natalie Cole, are both in heaven. Hopefully the dad is there. I personally believe that Natalie Cole, the daughter, is in heaven. What's the song he's famous for? Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, whether near or far. That one. That's what he's famous for, among others, among the Christmas stuff that he did. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. But this is only April, so I'm not going to sing Christmas. But that's Nat King Cole. Ray Liotta, we lost him a couple years ago. Famous, though inaccurately, but famous for the role of Henry Hill in Goodfellas, among other film roles that he's done. But I think his role as Henry Hill, however inaccurate it may be, and I trust Michael Franzese in his review on that movie alone. But the role of Henry Hill by Ray Liotta, I don't think anyone can not remember him for that. That's what he's most famous for. In my opinion, that's what Ray Liotta is most famous for. Terry Crews. He was one of the hosts of American Idol. No, America's Got Talent. Excuse me. Terry Crews. He was a former football player, and he's a television guy now. I think he has a podcast, if I remember correctly. Well, that's Terry Crews. Who else? Who is this? Dr. Phil McGraw. Dr. Phil McGraw. Dr. Phil Show. Jeff Dunham. Silence! I kill you! Hello, senor. How you doing, Peanut? I'm doing good. How are you? I'm doing good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yoink. That's Jeff Dunham with Peanut. And Walter. Jose Jalapeno on the stick. And a few others. Ahmed, the terrorist. Dr. Mehmet Oz. Dr. Oz, he had his show. Now he's a part of the Trump team. Christian Slater. I think he's still around. I know him from, he was in a movie called Broken Arrow with John Travolta. Don't get him confused with Ethan Hawke. Don't get him confused with Ethan Hawke. It's not the same guy. But Christian Slater was in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, if you remember that. Naomi Watts. Why do I have her star in from the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Why do I have her star? I don't know. She's a famous lady. Who is this? Vince Vaughn. Comedian, actor. He played a very good role. And I have to watch the movie again. But he played a very good role as the platoon commander for the movie Hacksaw Ridge, which is based on a true story, directed by Mel Gibson, with the main star being Andrew Garfield playing Desmond Doss. One of the few, if not the only, United States Army veteran for World War II, conscientious objector who saved probably over 100 fellow soldiers on Hacksaw Ridge without firing a shot. That's Desmond Doss. So if you've not seen Hacksaw Ridge yet, go see it. I suggest that you do. That's Vince Vaughn. Goldie Hawn, wife of Kurt Russell. They've been together, married, quote, married, together for over 40 years. So keep it up. Keep it up, you two. I have a picture here of the Hollywood sign. Last time I was up there about 12 years ago, I did not get this picture. I did not. Macaulay Culkin. I made my family disappear. We love you, Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. John Belushi. John Belushi, I believe he was, it was John. He played one of the Blues Brothers with Dan Aykroyd in the movie Blues Brothers. So that was cool. John Belushi. He left way... I know he had an alcohol or drug problem, and quite a few people did in those days from SNL. But Jim Belushi's still alive. His brother's still alive. But I would say that John left us too early, even though he had alcohol problems, drug problems, and probably because of that, a weight problem as well. And that's what also killed Chris Farley, too, around that same time. Walter Matthau. I know Walter Matthau through two films. One is The Grumpy Old Men with Jack Lemmon, and he was the neighbor for Dennis the Menace in those movies back in the 90s, if you remember those. There's Jack Lemmon, Bill Nye, the science guy. There was a family behind me walking the same street, and the dad says, "Hey kids, come over here. It's Bill Nye, the science guy." And these kids are probably 8, 9, 10. I said, "Bill Nye, huh? They're still doing his science. Is he still doing his science stuff?" I see him doing debates with Ken Ham from the Ark, Ark Museum. I think it's called. The Ken Ham is, or the Ark Experience, whatever that's called, down there in the Midwest. But I got Bill Nye's star, Bob Newhart. Kids say the darndest things. That's how I know him from. Mel Blanc, the master of Looney Tunes, master of voice for Looney Tunes. Why not, Doc? Sucker and succotash. Tasmanian Devil. I'm hunting the rabbits. It's rabbit season. Elmer Fudd. And a whole bunch of others that Mel Blanc. I believe. That's all, folks. That's Mel Blanc. I got him twice. Whoops. I apologize. I got him twice. There we go. Rob Reiner, he was just murdered by his son, him and his wife. So sad. Rob Reiner. And that's his dad, Carl Reiner. Nick Nolte, you don't see him much anymore. He played the dad of Eric Bana's Incredible Hulk, Dr. Bruce Banner. Nick Nolte played his dad, believe it or not. And he was also known for 48 Hours, the comedy with Eddie Murphy. I think it's 48 Hours. Or is it Beverly Hills Cop? I think it's 48 Hours. Who is this? Carol Burnett. Famous actress, comedian, Carol Burnett. She had her show for a long time. She's still alive at 91, 92. Carol Burnett is still alive. Big inspiration to Steve Harvey. Jack Black. I like Jack Black. He was very good in the movie called School of Rock. Loosey Goosey, baby. Loosey Goosey. He's playing in the remake of the Jumanji movies with Dwayne Johnson. He's doing Kung Fu Panda, excuse me. Not Kung Fu Panda. But he also played one of the main actors with what's his name? Guy who did a pianist. Adrian Brody. Jack Black played an actor. No, he played a film director, 1930s film director, 1930s to 40s film director to Adrian Brody's actor, King Kong, with the guy from Due South. Is it Due South? I think it's Due South. And the other show that let me get the cast because I want to get this right. King Kong. And I think Peter Jackson made this film. I think. Peter Jackson. Yes. So Peter Jackson did the film. Jack Black. Naomi Watts was Ann Darrow. Adrian Brody. Andy Serkis played King Kong and Lumpy. Jamie Bell played Jimmy, the wannabe soldier who accompanied the crew. Colin Hanks, Tom Hanks' son, was in it. And Evan Park played Hayes. But yeah, there's another guy who was in it. Oh, where's the other guy I'm thinking of? Oh, Kyle Chandler. That's the guy I'm thinking of. Kyle Chandler. He played Bruce Baxter, another actor. And Carl, what show was he famous for? Friday Night Lights. Early Edition. That's a show I remember him. He did Early Edition. Who did a show called Due South? Was it Due South or Due South? Oh, it's Paul Gross. I thought that was Kyle Chandler. Oh, okay. Okay, I thought Kyle Chandler was in Due South. Okay, so but Jack Black, famous. He's in a band called Tenacious D. Alex Trebek. Do 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 do. If you don't know that tune, you've been in the cave for the last 50 years. Alex Trebek, Jeopardy host for many, many, many years. We miss him. Dean Martin, part of the Rat Pack with Sammy Davis Jr. Martin Lawrence, I saw him once. Years ago, one of his daughters was doing a cheerleading competition in Anaheim. Years ago, about, I would say almost 10 years ago now. Angela Lansbury, Murder, She Wrote. She played Mrs. Potts in the Disney animated version of Beauty and the Beast. Lorne Michaels, they are doing a documentary on this guy right now. Lorne Michaels, who I think he created Saturday Night Live. I think so. Don't get him confused with Nigel Farage. It's not the same dude, okay? Lorne Michaels. Kenan Thompson, comedian, SNL alumni. Kenan Thompson. Jimi Hendrix, all the way to the days of Woodstock. He died at 37. He died at 27. He was part of the 27 crew or club, 27 club. Amy Winehouse is now part of this 27 club, where you die at the age of 27. I think it's 27. John Ritter died on 9/11, 2003. I want to say 2003, 2004. Right after, a couple of years after the attack on the World Trade Center, and John Ritter was on the set of it was 8 Simple Rules, where he died of a heart attack on set. I think it was 8 Simple Rules. Jerry Lee Lewis, that is Great Balls of Fire. Great Balls of Fire, that's Jerry Lee Lewis In the first video, we had Jerry Lewis, the comedian, the Muscular Dystrophy Association telethon dude. This is Jerry Lee Lewis, who was the cousin of Jimmy Swaggart. Jim Henson, Sesame Street, creator of all the great puppets of Sesame Street, Big Bird, Kermit the Frog, who has his own star, Kermit the Frog, Snuffleupagus, Oscar the Grouch, a whole bunch of other characters back in the day. Sesame Street. That's Jim Henson. Hey, Miyagi understand, Dino-san. Miyagi understand. You watch too much TV. Wax on, wax off. Gene Autry. Who's Gene Autry? Gene Autry was an actor. But he also owned the Angels in Anaheim when the Angels was first created, probably back in the 60s. That's Gene Autry. But he was a country star, movie star. Randy Newman is a musician known for the song "You Got a Friend in Me," which is the Toy Story song, the song from Toy Story, the first one. Rob Lowe, he also played in a movie called Behind the Candelabra, where he played, is that Rob Lowe or Chad Lowe? I think it's Rob Lowe. Chad Lowe played in 24, I believe. Anyway, Rob Lowe played a guy who was a plastic surgeon for Lee Liberace, with Lee Liberace played by Michael Douglas, as I said in the first video. So that's Rob Lowe's star there. Andy Williams was a singer. He was a recorder. He is the guy. I think he's the Moon River singer. Moon River, wider than the sky. That guy. Okay, that's Andy Williams. Vin Scully. Vin Scully did 60 plus years as the announcer for the LA Dodgers. He was the newscaster, sports newscaster for the LA Dodgers for probably 60 years. I believe he lived to be 90. Vin Scully. He had his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Robert Gilliam. He played in 24, season 2. He also is the voice of Rafiki in the animated version of Lion King. That's Robert Gilliam. Who is this? This is Walter Koenig. Excuse me, can you help us? We are looking for the nuclear vessels. Excuse me, can you help us? We are looking for the nuclear vessels. How big is your medical staff? Captain. What course setting, Captain? That's my best Pavel Chekhov. This is Pavel Chekhov, commanding officer of the USS Reliant. Walter Koenig is still alive. God bless him. Oh my. It's George Takei, not Takai, as someone has been insisting on pronouncing it for 60 years. George Takei, not Takai, Takei, as in toupee. Gene Roddenberry, the great bird in the sky. Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek. Look how messed up his star is. So, I think Worf would say that is dishonorable. To have cracks in the star of Gene Roddenberry, y'all. What do you think of that? Respond in the comments below, will you? Gene Roddenberry's star has cracks in it, man. Bing Crosby, believe his daughter, or is it daughter or granddaughter? I think granddaughter. Denise Crosby. And Bing Crosby. Daughter or granddaughter? Granddaughter of Bing Crosby. Don't say daughter. Granddaughter of Bing Crosby. And I think Bing Crosby was a crooner, but I stand to be corrected. He could be part of the Rat Pack as well. Bing Crosby. But he's famous for singing Christmas songs very well, by the way. Him, Dean Martin. Who's the other guy? Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. Who's the other guy I'm thinking of? Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, Rat Pack. Who was in the Rat Pack? Who was in the Rat Pack? Dean Martin, Sammy Davis, Frank Sinatra, Peter Lawford, I don't know who he is. Joey Bishop, don't know. Humphrey Bogart, oh, that's interesting. That's a musical band. Yeah, and Humphrey Bogart was the lead. Oh, that's interesting. Excuse me. They were the Rat Pack were the originals of the Ocean's 11. There's Bing Crosby. All right. Who do I have next? Charlie Chaplin. Known for all his silent films, comedian, and he has a record of having the longest standing ovation at the Academy Awards. Longest standing ovation for Charlie Chaplin at the Academy Awards. This is the Hollywood United Methodist Church, and that looked pretty famous, so I did a picture. There you go. It's got the red ribbon there. What's the red ribbon? Is that cancer? No, it's giving blood. Red ribbon. Ribbon. In support of. Oh, HIV. AIDS awareness. Oh, okay. AIDS awareness. That's interesting. Next star is Sean D. Oh, my God. Sean Kong. Okay. I'm going to say this. I think they should remove his star. Of all the people who have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, his should be removed. My opinion. But he still has it. Chris Hemsworth. This is Thor. I don't do his voice. So. I'm the god of thunder. And I love Jane. What's her name, Jane? Played by Natalie Portman. Yeah, Jane. Chris Hemsworth, he's a good actor. I like him. Groucho Marx from the Marx Brothers. Vince McMahon. Was it him or Donald Trump who came up with, "You're fired"? You're fired. Or, you're fired. That's Vince McMahon's version. Kermit the Frog here. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. What the hell was that? Hi, my name's Simon Cowell, and I don't take shit from anybody. If your voice sounds like crap, I'll tell you it. No filters, no niceties, nothing. Blunt and honest. That was an absolutely horrible performance. Go back to where they lied to you. Thank you. Wolfgang, the chef Wolfgang Puck. I've seen him on Hell's Kitchen a couple of times. Oi, Jackie Chan. Gotta. Come on, Lee, come on. Let's do Rush Hour 4. Come on, Lee. Gotta. I can't do this, God, I'm too old. That was a good role for him, but my favorite role is Jackie Chan as Mr. Han. Mr. Han. Excuse me. Mr. Han. Yes, Chandra. Can I come in? Yes, Chandra. Your focus needs more focus. No attitude. Pick up your jacket. Put it on. Take it off. Throw it down. Pick it up. Loved him as Mr. Han in the Kung Fu Kid. Not the Karate Kid, the Kung Fu Kid. But he did do a movie last year with Ralph Macchio and this new kid who did really well called Karate Kid Legends, I think it's called. Very well done. We love Jackie Chan. Who is this? This is Kevin. Oh, here's another one whose star should be removed. Kevin Spacey. I'm sorry. Just like Sean P. Diddy Combs, his star should be removed. I'm sorry. Donald Trump has his star. Why does Donald Trump have a star? Probably because of The Apprentice. I got a star in the Walk of Fame. I love it. Unfortunately, it's not in front of a Trump Tower. But I'm the president again. I'm 47. I'm the 47th president of the United States. We're trying to have a ceasefire with Iran. I'm sorry. My Trump is not as good as others. My Trump sounds more like Jason Scoop's Trump. Okay. Same. But he does have a star, probably because of The Apprentice, which lasted for, 13 seasons? So I got Donald Trump. Rod Stewart. I don't think he's performing much anymore. I think he had cancer here recently, if I remember correctly. Don't get him mixed up with Barry Manilow. Not the same guy. Don't get him mixed up with Barry Manilow now. Sandra Bullock. She's a pretty good actress. She's done a few good roles. She played the adopted mother of that football player in the movie called The Blind Side, based on true story. She did a movie called Premonitions, I think. She's done a lot of comedies, like I think William Shatner's been in some of her movies. I'm thinking Miss Congeniality. I might be wrong. Let me see. Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock. Yep, Blindside. Oh, The Proposal. Yeah, Miss Congeniality. I was right. Speed with Keanu Reeves. Bird Box, The Lost City. Ocean's 8. Oh, okay. Practical Magic and a whole bunch of others. Okay. She's American and German actress. Ooh. So that's Sandra Bullock. Keanu Reeves. Give this man a gun. John Wick. Give this man a gun. That's my Lawrence Fishburne / John Wick impression. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Oh, we love these ladies in Full House, the original. We love them. Now again, they're almost as, I think they're older than me. I think. Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. We hear your song at work, Britney Spears. We hear your song in the grocery retail radio program, y'all. I hear Britney Spears. Why? Antonio Banderas. Puss in Boots. Oh gosh. His funniest role is where he played one of the mercs with what's his name? Sylvester Stallone in The Expendables. Oh my God, Expendables 3 with Kelsey Grammer playing the boss, Harrison Ford being in it, Mel Gibson being the enemy, I think. Or was it Jean-Claude Van Damme, one of the two? I think it was Mel Gibson, the last one. Oh, man, Antonio Banderas, he's funny. But he also played a very serious role where he did an oath of silence until the people who were responsible for a murder were taken out. What's Code of Silence? What's that movie? Because I saw it. It's a very good role. Antonio Banderas. He played a good successor to Anthony Hopkins Zorro. Anthony Hopkins Zorro. Antonio Banderas played the student of Anthony Hopkins in The Mask of Zorro, Puss in Boots, Desperado, Spy Kids, The Skin I Live In, Baby Girl. What's the film he was in where he committed to 13th Warrior. That's the first movie I saw Antonio Banderas in. What he played? He's in Shrek. He's in Assassins. Expendables 3. What is the film where he played? Oh, Acts of Vengeance, I think is the one. Yeah, Acts of Vengeance. Oh, he played the gay lover to Tom Hanks' character in Philadelphia with Denzel Washington. That was a good film. That is a good film, Philadelphia. Colt Killer. Okay. Oh, Antonio Banderas, he's done a lot. He does an animal voice for Dr. Dolittle with Robert Downey Jr. Okay. Oh, The Other Man with Liam Neeson. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's Antonio Banderas. Nathan Lane, he does the movie called The Producer's Place, based on the play, also called The Producers. Nathan Lane. And he also played... Did he play Timon? Yes. Yes, he played Timon in the animated version of Lion King. Matthew Broderick. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Godzilla, where Godzilla is a female in that particular film. Matthew Broderick. You don't see him much that often anymore. He played... he was the adult Simba in the animated Lion King. Matthew Broderick. Stuart Hamlin. Now, who was Stuart Hamlin? Many of you may not remember who Stuart Hamlin was. He was a radio disc jockey He was a radio. I thought he was an actor as well, but he was mainly a radio guy back in the 40s, 1940s. And he is one of four people. Is it four or three? One of four people who got saved through the Billy Graham crusade in Los Angeles in 1949 on the corner of Washington and Hill Street. And I know the story. I've known the story for a long time. But Stuart Hamlin later, this is a true story, Stuart Hamlin later went home, or he was walking home, and his neighbor called him up to the porch and said something to the effect that I saw this neighbor, said, Stuart, I saw what happened to you, and I heard the radio broadcast that you did for that Billy Graham kid. Of course, Billy Graham was in his 30s during this crusade at the Canvas Cathedral. And he said, Stuart said, yeah, well, John, it is no secret what God can do. What he's done for others, he'll do for you. And John took that in his head and thought about it. Said, Stuart, that sounds like a song. And Stuart wrote that song. It is no secret. Through that conversation with his neighbor named John, and that John is the Duke, or was the Duke, John Wayne. That's a true story. John Wayne, Mary Morrison, and Stuart were neighbors in the 40s. True story. And Stuart went to the Billy Graham Crusade in 49. He got saved in a hotel room, according to George Beverly Shea. But Stuart Hamlin, Louis Zamperini, who was a famous marathon runner in the 1936 or 39 Olympics with Owens. And Louis Zamperini was also a World War II veteran whose plane was shot down in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. He survived, and he was on a raft for 47 days until a Japanese caught up to him, and he was a POW, I think, for 2 years. And you can read his story in the book called Unbroken by Laura Hildenbrand, and also there was a movie made about that by Angelina Jolie directing it. And Angelina Jolie was Louis Zamperini's neighbor in Los Angeles, believe it or not. If you don't believe me, look it up. But Louis Zamperini, Stuart Hamlin, and a mafia guy who worked in the LA outfit, it's kind of like the Chicago outfit, but the LA outfit of the mob, Mickey Cohen, and then his wiretapper was one of the 3 or 4 people that got saved through the Billy Graham Crusades. That's a true story. That's how I know the Stuart Hamlin. He wrote the song It Is No Secret. He wrote the song Though Autumn's Coming On, Teach Me, Lord, to Wait, and a whole bunch of others. How Big Is God is also a well-known Stuart Hamlin song, and Gene McDonald sings that song even today. Gene McDonald of the Florida Boys, and that is how Stuart Hamlin is famous. You got Peter Jackson there, famous Lord of the Rings, King Kong director. This guy's good. We love Peter Jackson from New Zealand. That's at El Capitan Theater. Robert Duvall, we just lost him. We just lost the apostle, y'all. We lost the apostle of the movies, Robert Duvall. I've seen quite a few movies by him. Some are okay. Most of them are most are okay. There's two that I don't like, and a couple I kind of skipped from movies with Robert Duvall. The Apostle, Civil Action. I have not finished that movie. The Apostle, Civil Action, Sling Blade, Tender Mercies, where he won an Academy Award. He played Tommy Hagen, who is the consigliere for the Don Corleone family in The Godfather, Godfather 1 and maybe 2. And a whole bunch of others. He was Boo Radley with Gregory Peck and Brock Peters in To Kill a Mockingbird. And that was his first role. And so, rest in peace, Robert Duvall. Martin Landau played a guy. He played a mob boss in a movie. He also played a preacher by the name of, a preacher who worked with Billy Graham, who later turned atheist, agnostic atheist. And I'll see, what was his name? Charles Templeton. Charles Templeton. And Martin Landau played an older Charles Templeton. Charles Templeton was a Canadian preacher. And before that, I think he was a journalist. He was a typewriter journalist. And he became a preacher with Billy Graham in the 30s and 40s. And it was at the Forest, what was it called? The Forest Hills? No, the Forest, I think it was Forest Hills or Forest Home Retreat Center, hosted by Henrietta C. Mears, and it was at that place where Billy Graham and Charles Templeton met, and Charles Templeton admitted that he no longer believed in God. He no longer believed in the inerrancy of the Bible. And Martin Landau played that role of Charles Templeton in a movie called Billy the Early Years. You can look it up. Martin Landau also played a very good role where he and Christopher Plummer did a movie together. One was a German SS officer and another was a Jewish Holocaust survivor, something like that. And they were almost bedmates. They were almost bunk bed mates or whatever. They almost shared a room in this hospice center. And let me get the name of that movie. It's a very good movie. Sad ending, but it was a very good movie. So Martin Landau and Christopher Plummer. What's the name of that movie? Remember from 2015. That was a very good film. It was a thriller, mystery, very good film. And let's see, according to this, it is not based on true story. Oh no, that's not the one. Yep, an elderly Holocaust survivor with dementia who sets out to kill a Nazi war criminal in retaliation for the death of his family. Martin Landau plays a fellow Holocaust survivor and a widower, Christopher Plummer, who struggles with memory loss, embarks on a cross-country odyssey to find the former Nazi responsible for the death of their family members. So I should watch that one again. I'm not sure if that's based on true story, but it's a very good film. So that's Martin Landau. That's how I know Martin Landau's name. Billy Bob Thornton. I just mentioned Robert Duvall. Billy Bob Thornton has been in a couple of movies with Robert Duvall. Sling Blade is the one I know, and I just fairly recently, just saw that movie, Sling Blade. Billy Bob Thornton, one of his best roles is Carl Childers. And this is my impression of Billy Bob as Carl Childers. Here we go. All right then. I reckon y'all want to know why I'm in here. They killed someone. I read the Bible, and I like them French fried potatoes. That's my Billy Bob Thornton, Sling Blade, Carl Childers impression. I hope you enjoyed it. Next star we have is Harrison Ford. Chewie, we're home. Harrison Ford, my opinion, best role of Harrison Ford is as the newscaster Mike Pomeroy in Morning Glory with the late Diane Keaton and Rachel McAdams. Funny role. Nobody could have done it better. He also did a very good role in a movie called what's the name of the movie? Extraordinary Measures. Based on true story. Although his character is not based on anyone particular, but based on a medical institution that helped kids with Pompe disease. But the character that Harrison Ford was given was very well done. Very well done. Dr. Stonehill. I wish there was a real Dr. Stonehill that Harrison played. But man, Extraordinary Measures, very good film with Harrison Ford and Brendan Fraser. And Brendan Fraser might be coming back for The Mummy. That would be so cool. And Oded Ferrer, he's coming back as the Arabian friend. Rachel Weisz might be coming back. Who knows? But of course, I love but I enjoyed the original Mummy movie because it had John Hannah and it's funny, John Hannah, and he turned serious when he did this, when he played the Dominus in Spartacus with the late Andy Warfield, I think his name, Andy Warfield, who passed away of cancer or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, something like that. But John Hannah was funny in the first Mummy movie, very funny. The first movie with Brendan Fraser, but Harrison Ford, Morning Glory, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, all of them are good. I have not finished Dial Destiny yet. I have to finish that film. But Harrison Ford, best role for him, in my opinion, Dr. Stonehill in Extraordinary Measures, and the one I just mentioned. Dr. Stonehill and Mike Pomeroy in Morning Glory. Kevin Costner. Everyone knows him now as the guy from Yellowstone, where he plays a cow rancher slash kind of real American, non-Italian American mob in quotes. Michael Franzese has reviewed Yellowstone a couple of times, and it's branded as a little bit of mafia, La Cosa Nostra in Yellowstone, which is interesting, and because there's branding involved with the Y, the letter Y. There's branding on humans, not just on the cows. So that's Kevin Costner. He's known for his history movies, JFK, 13 Days, Dances with Wolves, where he plays I think he plays the director of the Apollo 11, one of the Apollo movies. And I think that film is called Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures, I think, is the name, with Octavia. I think is it Hidden Figures? I think it's Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures. I think Kevin Costner's in it. Kevin. Oh, thumb's going out of whack. Costner. Is it Hidden Figures? Yes, it is. It is Hidden Figures. Okay, so Hidden Figures is a movie where Kevin Costner plays like a director for some NASA thing. I think it's NASA. Oh, it's part of the John Glenn thing, putting John Glenn, the astronaut, into space. So I have not seen this movie, but it's with Octavia Spencer, Taraji P. Henson, Janelle Monáe, Kevin Costner, Glenn Powell, Kirsten Dunst is in it as well. So there's Kevin Costner's star there. Russell Crowe, Gladiator. Russell Crowe, the father of Superman in Man of Steel. Russell Crowe, he's done a pretty good movies. One of my favorite movies by Russell Crowe is American Gangster, where he plays a detective who is investigating, trying to get Frank Lucas. And Frank Lucas is played by Denzel Washington. That's a very good film. He did a pretty good film as the father of Superman, too, to be honest. He did a very good role. Gladiator, everyone knows him as Gladiator. Too bad he did not return for Gladiator 2 because his character was dead, unfortunately. But that's Russell Crowe for you. Anthony Hopkins. Hello, Clarice. Anthony Hopkins, famous waltz composer, believe it or not. Famous for Hannibal Lecter. Famous for being in a Transformers movie. Not the first one, of course, but the third one or fourth one. There might be a Transformers 7 here pretty soon, so look for that. But Anthony Hopkins was in the Transformer movie with Mark Wahlberg. Just to let you know that. Anthony Hopkins. He's still around. He's on Twitter a lot. Doing videos. Twitter mostly. I don't think Twitter, maybe TikTok. I don't think YouTube yet. But he just released a book too. Anthony Hopkins did. So I've yet to read that. Next star is Nicole Kidman, ex-wife of Tom Cruise. Nicole Kidman did a very good role, and I think she's still doing it, where she plays the boss of Zoe Saldana in Lioness. I think it's called Lioness, where Zoe plays like a narco, but she plays a military lady, a military fighter, American military fighter, in Linus, where she has to go on separate missions, going like rescue missions in the Middle East and something like that. And Morgan Freeman's in it too. Morgan Freeman, Nicole Kidman, Zoe Saldana, Linus. So that's a good role for Nicole Kidman. Martin Scorsese, Goodfellas. He just released a book too. Martin Scorsese did. Martin Scorsese, Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese, The Last Temptation of Christ. Martin Scorsese, very well-known director of a lot of films. I think he did. Marty did the movie The Irishman with De Niro, Pesci, and Al Pacino. Not a bad film. Long, but not a bad film. Unfortunately, for that film, is not true. Because if you listen to Michael Franzese, he will say that Frank Sheeran did not kill Jimmy Hoffa. But the guys who played those roles, not bad at all. Russell Bufalino, played by Joe Pesci. Frank Sheeran, played by De Niro with de-aging. And Jimmy Hoffa, played by Pacino. Now, my only observation concern is that Al Pacino does not look like Jimmy Hoffa. Jack Nicholson looked a lot more like Jimmy Hoffa than Al Pacino. That's just observation. Okay? Observation. Just putting it out there. Olivia Newton-John, Grease. We loved her in Grease. Too bad she passed away. She's been passed away a long time now. Over 10 years. Tim McGraw, country singer. Husband of Faith Hill, I believe. And I think he's still performing the Grand Ole Opry. Julie Andrews. The hills are alive at the sound of music. Doe a deer, a female deer. Ray a part of the golden sun. Me a name I call myself. Far a long way to run. So, ba-da-da-da-da. All that song from Sound of Music. That's Julie Andrews. Dame Julie Andrews, by the way, who is also in her 90s now, along with Carol Burnett. So that's Julie Andrews. Oh, I did not crop this one. I'm sorry. Let me crop this one. My last star is Billy Graham. I have to do Billy. And I do Billy like Dennis Swanberg does Billy. And I want you to know that I was there at the Washington and Hill Street Canvas Cathedral with Louis Zamperini and the Gangster and Stewart. I met Stewart there. I met him in his radio studio so many years ago. And now that place is nothing. There's a building there, but there's no tent. There's the monument. There's that big plaque there. It's still there. I'm sure of it. But I want you to know in 2026 that God still loves you. And if you're listening to this video, I hope you had a wonderful Easter. And I hope you have a great rest of the year, 2026. This is from Billy Graham. God bless you, all of you. And I hope you enjoyed these runarounds with the Hollywood Walk of Fame. John Travolta, Grease. We just got through with Olivia Newton-John. Now we got John Travolta, Danny Zuko. John Travolta's done some good movies. And he's still performing. He's still acting, I believe. Slash, the famous guitar player Slash, Amy Grant, Vince Gill. Chorus high upon that mountain. Son, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven a shouting. Praise to the Father and the Son. A famous song by Vince Gill, written after his brother died, I believe. That is what used to be called the Chinese Grauman's Chinese Theater. Now it's called TCL or TCL Theater. It's Grauman's Chinese Theater, y'all. There's the Dolby Theater. There's Ripley's Believe It or Not. And that's the end. That's the photo montage. There was the Hollywood Wax Museum, but it did not do a video on that. There's a Hollywood Museum and then the Hollywood Wax Museum, which is pretty much across the street from each other. And that's where I had lunch. There's a McDonald's right there on the corner of what's the corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Argyle. No, Argyle is where I got off the metro. It's Argyle. The bus. Let me get the maps here. Oh, here it is. I still have this. Hollywood Walk of Fame. I'm trying to still get it. Here it is. Boom. So you got that McDonald's. Museum of Death. Good thing I didn't go in there. So where is that? There's Hollywood. I was thinking of trying that, but since it was Monday, usually on Mondays I do McDonald's on Mondays. So you got the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Oh, I did actually see this one. Scum and Villainy Cantina. That's out of Star Wars for sure. Kahunga, Evar, Hollywood, Vine. Hollywood and Vine. Okay, here's a Pantages Theater. Where is the Pantages Broadcast? Where is the McDonald's? I'm sorry, folks. I gotta look this up. McDonald's on Vine Street. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Oh, no. That's not the one. Oh, there's one. That's not the one I'm thinking of. McDonald's Hollywood. There's a couple of them. Right by. There's Hollywood and Vine. Okay, there we go. There's Argyle. Wax. Hollywood Wax. Where's Hollywood Wax? Wax. Museum. No, that's not the one. Oh, there's Hollywood and Highland. Oh, yeah. That's one. Hollywood Boulevard and Highland. There, yeah. That's where I had lunch. So there's a Hollywood Wax Museum. And right next to the McDonald's is the Ripley's, Believe It or Not. Ripley's, Believe It or Not. There's a Hollywood Wax Museum and something else. Adam West star. Okay. Anyway, Ripley's Believe It or Not. Oh yeah, the Hollywood Museum and the Hollywood Wax Museum. They're two different places. And then you got Ripley's Believe It or Not. Okay. So I did not take pictures of the Wax Museum. I believe it would have been way too expensive to get in there. But I was there 12 years ago. I was there 12 years ago, for sure. And so I hope you enjoyed this long video. It's part 2 of the photo collage of my trip to Hollywood. I may do this again. Who knows? I may do it again. But I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great day. Bye-bye.